Hey everybody, Doug here. Welcome back to yet another board game channel and yet another round of Sentinels of the Multiverse versus Oblivion. This is going to be the last episode because we need, if we don't win it this turn, yeah, we're going to lose at the very beginning of the next turn. We may even lose partway through this one, depending on what cards OblivAeon comes up with. But we will see. First off, a couple of things. One thing I forgot to just mention last turn when my heroes came back, when I got the new ones, Heroes 1 and 2, Absolute Zero and Haka, I actually did place them in Area 1. Battle Zone 1, because I knew that bad stuff was coming at the beginning of the turn in Battle Zone 2. Next thing, a couple of mistakes. Once again, thanks to Base Flash for noticing this. I can't believe I actually forgot to use the Sentinels' power during their power phase. That's basic. How did I miss that? The other one, which is a little bit bigger in the long run, Oblivion did a whole bunch of damage to everybody, and I forgot to apply that to Dr. Medico, which means the Sentinels would have dropped sooner, which means we would have had a replacement hero sooner, and different cards would have ended up getting played at different points. And it would have affected the HP of characters, so Mainstay would have played a different card, and basically I messed it up, so I'm just going to have to take my lumps on that one, because it's going to be way too tricky to fix. So we'll just get into it. Fingers crossed that I'm mostly counting on Lifeline to be able to do stuff like crazy. But yeah, we will see. Into it, starting with Oblivion's turn. And yep, at the start of Oblivion's turn, if there are 12 or more devastation tokens on this card, and there's rather more than, so we're going to take off 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, which leaves us with 3. And that means that Champion Studios is going to get wiped out. So let's go to Battle Zone 2 and deal with that. Alright, first things first. This environment goes away. Oblivion would move to the zone if he weren't already here. He is. Then we are going to put into play our final environment, the Doktharoth capital, Doktharoth being the planet that Tempest comes from, and that Grand Warlord Voss has invaded and taken over. So there's our final environment. And then, yes, Oblivion is going to do 20 irreducible infernal damage to everything here, which is why when my heroes came back I put them in the other zone, because I knew this was coming. So that is, 20 irreducible, so Nixus the Chosen is actually down to 6. That's great, although that does put another devastation token on the card. Yeah, the first time he's dealt damage each turn. Add 1 devastation token. The Aeon Master. No, that's not okay, nothing happens from him just getting hit. He just gets hit. then the Aeon Vassal and the Aeon Warrior are wiped out. So the Vassal, when Oblivion destroys it, yeah, we put another Devastation token on the card, putting us up to 5 again already. Also, whenever an Aeon Man is destroyed, the Aeon Master does each non-villain target 2 energy damage. Again, we're over there, so it doesn't matter. And yes, the Warrior being destroyed doesn't have any effect because it would deal a hero target a huge amount of damage. We are not around. Okay, that is it for that part of the beginning of OblivAeon's turn. Now back to his character sheet to deal with the rest. At the start of his turn, we're going to move down to 1. So that is definitely going to 0 at the beginning of next turn, which will destroy our last environment, thus making us lose the game. Hopefully nothing will cause it to go down more, like a card. Okay, Disrupt Space-Time. Oblivion deals each target 2 energy damage, each target. So that is going to include... That's going to include the bad guys. Here we are. So we're not going to place another Devastation token because it's the same turn. And okay, there we are. Our HP is now correct on the bad guys. Move any heroes dealt any damage this way to the other battle zone. If no heroes are moved this way, well, Oblivion will instead move over there on his own. Okay, we were going to come over to start pounding on him anyway. There we go. Going to put him over there. And then at the end of Oblivion's turn, right, we would move him over there anyway, because that's where the most hero targets were, that he's going to deal each target 3 infernal damage. And yes, I just realized that means we just lost our... We're about to lose our last best hope to take down Oblivion, but we'll go through it one at a time. We're going to do 3 damage to... Let's do the villains first. Right, Sanction, reduce damage dealt to the card by 2, so they're only going to take 1, leaving them at 24. Void Soul will take... Yes, we'll take the 3. Leaving her at 34. Now our heroes. Absolute Zero takes 3. Haka takes 3, and unfortunately Lifeline loses his last hit point, which means we've lost another hero. So let's clean him up. We're gonna tidy up, get rid of all his cards, but we'll put the rewards over here to be available for the next hero. We will place another token on the Inevitable Destruction card. And I think that will actually be the end of the turn, so we will go straight into choosing our final replacement hero. Alright, here we go. And... oh, we get a Skyscraper. The Skyscraper Extremist. Okay, a quick look at her. She's going to start with 32 HP. She's an alien size changer, so she starts on her normal card, but there are other cards in her deck that let her become either huge or tiny. And this is the Extremist version. It's from her a little bit in the future. you know, a little wiser. And I think her English is probably slightly better, although that won't be reflected in the cards. So yes, we will put her into play as Hero 3. Right, and she is actually a nemesis with Nyxus the Chosen. So I'll just put that to remember, and we'll get into the hero's turn, starting with Absolute Zero. Okay, Absolute Zero is going to stay in the zone because that's where Oblivion is and we need to hit him. For a special action, I think we're going to say one player may play a card now, and we're just going to play one of Skyscrapers. Okay, first thing, forgot to go over what her actual power is when we brought her out. Improvise. On her normal card anyway. You may either play a link or move a link from your trash into your hand. Play the bottom card of your deck. Oh, actually, in that case, yeah, in fact, let's in that case make it, instead of play one card, we're going to let another hero use a power. So she's going to use this, because we'll be able to put 2 cards into play, because I was going to play a link. We are going to play the Rebounding Defibrillator. Equipment, link. Play this card in front of a non-hero target. When that target would deal 3 or more damage, prevent that damage. Then either destroy this card or put it on the top of our deck. And Skyscraper says, it appears that time is the thing that you have run out of. Ha! So I think, just to make sure we get through all of our heroes' turns and nobody dies, we're going to stick that in front of OblivAeon. So the first time he does 3 or more damage, we'll be able to prevent it. Now, we also get to play the bottom card of our deck. We have no idea what this is going to be. Oh, Compulsion Canister. This is actually a handy one. Excuse me. Skyscraper says, I am told by something that they will be busy right now. Equipment link, play this card in front of a target. That target deals itself and one other non-hero target 2 irreducible psychic damage now. There's no point in putting it on Oblivion because he is immune to his own damage. So we're going to stick it on one of those scions. Here we go. It is irreducible. So let's say sanction. Yeah, because they got less. So yeah, we'll attach that to sanction. Who does him or herself? I'm not sure anymore at this point. That target deals itself 2 irreducible psychic damage and one other non-hero target. That'll be Void Soul. So that is it for using Skyscraper's power. As an extra, at the beginning of Absolute Zero's turn, now back to 0. Okay, so what he's going to do is going to play his Isothermic Transducer. Equipment, limited, so we can only have 1 copy of this in play. Module, whenever Absolute Zero is dealt fire damage, Absolute Zero deals 1 target that much cold damage. And we got rather a lot of dialogue here. Tachyon says, but the laws of thermodynamics have more to do with Absolute Zero. Look, lady, all I know is fire gets all weird around me. Poor Tachyon, being a scientist in a comic book universe has got to be really frustrating. So we'll put that into play. Then Absolute Zero will use his Pilot Light. He's going to do himself 2 fire damage. So he's going to lose 2 points. However, 2, 3. That'll cause him to do 2 cold damage. And yeah, we're just going to do it to Oblivion because we have to. There we go. Oblivion's now at an even 70. And then we get to look through his deck for an ongoing card and put it into play. Alright, we are going to choose his Thermal Shockwave. We're going to try to use this during the other heroes' turns. Yes, power. Absolute zero deals up to 3 targets, 1 cold damage each. He then deals himself X amount of fire damage, where X is the total amount of cold damage dealt by Absolute Zero this turn. By opening all of the apertures in his suit to let in the scorching air, Absolute Zero can produce quite a chilling effect. Yeah, I'm hoping it's the best way to just get some damage happening at some point at other people's turns. There are other ongoing cards that would be very useful for the beginning of the next turn, but there's no way we're getting to the beginning of the next turn, so we gotta pile up powers now that we can use, hopefully multiple times. So, we have played a card, well, played a card, use the power, and we are going to draw a card. That will be the end of Zero's turn. Unfortunately, that means OblivAeon gets his next card. Add 1 Devastation token to the Inevitable Destruction card and play the top card of OblivAeon's deck. If this card is ever revealed or discarded, put this card into play, then move OblivAeon and all heroes to the other battle zone. Well, that's not going... Yeah, it's not being revealed or discarded. It's being played. So, we're going to... Are we going to ignore that, or are we going to move over? Does this count as revealed? I looked into the void, but what I found there was even worse, says the visionary. Well, let's deal with the other part first. We're going to put on a token, and we're going to play another card. Oh, look at that. It's the same card. So we're going to play another token, and then a card. Play this card in the other battle zone's villain play area. Yes, we've seen this. At the end of the villain turn, OblivAeon is going to add devastation tokens at the end of the turn. So that'll go into number 2. I don't know if... I'm going to have to look that up. Do we all move right now? And actually, without looking it up, I realized it doesn't matter because we have 2 of them. Either we don't really move between zones, in which case we stay in zone 1, or we move zones twice, which gets us right back to where we were, so it doesn't matter. We're going to stay put, and then move on to Haka's turn. Okay, start of Haka's turn, we're staying put. Then, as discussed just moments ago, we're going to have 1 hero may use a power, and Absolute Zero is going to do his Thermal Shockwave. So he's going to do 1 cold damage to up to 3 opponents. Unfortunately, that's can only do 2 because sanction damage dealt to them is reduced by 2. So we're going to take 1 off Void Soul and also do 1 to OblivAeon. Then 0, that means he's going to do 2 damage to himself. Fire, which because of his isothermic transducer will allow him to do 2 cold damage. On top of that, to OblivAeon. And that leaves OblivAeon at 67 HP. We need a literal miracle to win this. Okay, back to Haka's turn. Okay, no started turn effects. Then we are going to we're gonna play. I'd normally be inclined to play Ground Pound, which will prevent damage from happening until the next time we come around to Haka, but we don't have that kind of time. So we're going to play his Mere. I think I'm saying that right. I'm not entirely certain. It is a Maori weapon. Equipment limited. Power. Haka deals 1 target 2 melee damage and draws a card. And his quote is, "This club is as much me as my fist or my leg. Let me show you." I will put that into play. Then for his power, yeah, he's going to do that. Clobber Oblivion a tiny bit, knocking him now down to 65. Gets to draw a card. And then draw a card phase. So he draws another. And at the end of this turn, Oblivion, yes, gets another card. Absorb energy. Oh, it's a quote from Oblivion. "Cease your meddling. You cannot push back against the end of all things." I'm inclined to agree at the moment. One shot. Oblivion deals each target 3 energy damage. Then add X devastation tokens to the inevitable destruction card, where X equals, in our case, 3, minus the number of hero character cards dealt damage this way. Oh, so it's not going to add destruction, because everybody's going to get hurt. But yeah, 3 damage to everybody. Okay, so 3 energy damage to Void Soul, and again, only 1 to Sanction because they block 2. Now our heroes. Absolute Zero takes 3. It's too bad it wasn't fire, but it's energy. 3 against Haka, and 3 against Skyscraper. So that brings Haka's turn to a conclusion, and now we'll be moving on to Skyscraper. Okay, Skyscraper, just gonna stay put. For special action, yeah, we're going to grab the Infinity Cannon into our hand. Then for start of turn effects, then we're going to play the Infinity Cannon and use it for one last tiny nudge at Oblivion. Power, either draw a card or play an ammo card. We have no ammo cards, so we draw. Then we deal 1 target 5 energy damage. That is going to be Oblivion. And geez, you know what? I just realized I forgot about the rebounding defibrillator. Point. We should have prevented one of those 3 damages. Because we could have chosen what order to attack everything in. So we would have attacked the hero first, so that would kick in. And let's see, just because he's lowest, we're going to give those 3 back to Absolute Zero. Because why not? Alright, we did the 5 energy damage. That's their power. We're going to draw a card. We hit the end of Skyscraper's turn, and yes, we have to play another Oblivion card. Oh, look, the Abyss stares back again. Now we're going to take one of those onto there. Then check out the next card. Global Devastation. Oblivion deals each target in the game, so that's not just in our zone. It's going to be, yep, everything everywhere, and then we're going to destroy 2 environment cards, which is just going to be 1 card. But yeah, let's do that damage to everybody first. Okay, between shots, I did look it up, and no, the card just getting played does not count as it being revealed or discarded, obviously. So yes, we're not going to move around. We shouldn't have moved around before, but yeah, it wouldn't have mattered that first time. So, all right, on to, we're going to hit, focus please, we're going to hit the bad guys first, because we would rather the bad guys die. So, in Zone 1, we're going to do 2 and 2 is 4 damage against Void Soul, but none against Sanction, because it blocks 2, then blocks 2. Over in Zone 2, Aeon Master is going to lose 4. Nature's the Chosen is going to lose 2 at first, which puts another devastation token on the destruction card. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yes, we've got a couple ways that we're going to lose. And then another 2, so at least yeah, when this card is destroyed, at least this one's gone. Flip an objective in each hero play area. We don't have any objectives. We haven't had a chance to do anything because we keep dying. Then remove this card from the game. Well, at least, and we're going to take off the Nemesis token from Skyscraper. So then we would destroy 2 cards in each environment. Well, there's nothing at the Dr. Rock Capital. And we just got the one unstable midway card over at the Fantastical Festival. Now, yes, we've got to do all that damage to our heroes as well. Alright, 2 melee, 2 sonic. Absolute Zero is down to 17. Haka takes 4, putting him down to 23. And 4 against Skyscraper. And that concludes Skyscraper's turn. And we didn't kill OblivAeon in time. Well, let's go through the motions. We will do our battle zones, and then we'll officially lose the game. Okay, environment. Nothing is happening. And we got Gone Without a Trace. Okay, Tempest is speaking. Last I saw him, he was checking out the Hypnodome. The Marinian, I don't know how to pronounce their species. Marinian explained, when I got back, there was just no sign of him. Just his pipes. I am most concerned. Oh, I see, yeah, there's the Argent Adept's pipes. At the end of the environment turn, if there are more attractions than character cards with 5 or more HP, the target with the lowest HP deals itself 5 infernal damage. If a target is destroyed this way, remove that target and this card from the game. Well, that's not happening because there are 0 attractions and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 character cards if you're counting the villains. Alright, speaking of the villains, we have no start of turn effect. I pay a Scion card, a Terrible Burden, which we've seen. Move OblivAeon to this battle zone. Done. Put the bottom card of the Scion reserve into this battle zone. That Scion deals each hero 1 projectile damage and 1 fire damage. So, if we weren't in enough trouble, Progeny would show up. Villain Scion, return to Destroyer. He's a nemesis with a whole bunch of people. And this time, says Tachyon, it's even worse than before, if you can imagine that. I won't bother going over all of this, just if it comes up, because we're past the start of turn effect, so we don't care. Right, it's now going to deal 1 projectile damage and 1 fire damage to, well, just our heroes. Hey. Okay, one at a time. So yes, Progeny is actually a nemesis of Absolute Zero, so it's actually going to be 2 and 2. However, at least, let's see, 1, 2, 3, at least 2 of it is fire damage, which means we're going to be able to do 2 cold damage. And yeah, what the heck. Okay, we'll poke at Oblivion a tiny bit more, see how close we can get him to the end before we lose. And, well, the other 2 are more straightforward. They're just each going to take 2 damage. So that wraps up the Scion deck card. Now we do end of effects for the villains. Okay, in order, Void Soul at the end of the villain turn deals the lowest, the hero target with the lowest HP, right, deals each non-villain target 2 psychic damage and 2 infernal damage. If no damage is dealt this way, well, that's not gonna happen. So let's see, Nemesis, no, not Nemesis. It's got a Nemesis token on there. It's not his name. Absolute Zero has 13. Yes, he is lowest. So he's going to do a total of 4 damage to the others, putting Haka at 17 and Skyscraper at 19. Sanction at the end of the villain turn deals the hero target with the highest HP X energy damage, where X is the number of cards in that hero's trash. That is actually going to take effect. Skyscraper has 19, so she's highest, and she does have a single card in her trash, so she's actually going to take 1 damage. Then Progeny. At the end of this villain turn, add 1 token to this card. Then this card deals each hero target in the play area with the most rewards. That's going to be Skyscraper. She's the only one with any rewards. X energy damage, where X is the number of tokens. So she's going to take another tiny little hit. Excuse me. Leaving her at 17. That finishes Zone 1. On to Zone 2. Right. The Doktharoth capital. I think I'm wrong about this being where Tempest is from. It might actually be where Skyscraper is from. I can't remember which planet. Orbital Bombardment. At the start of the environment turn, deal 4 energy damage to each non-Thorathian target. Then destroy the rebel headquarters and this card. We have located the rebel base. The orbital commandant intoned, punching coordinates into the targeting console. Retribution shall be swift and final. That's it for the environment. So we start the villain turn. We have to put 1 more token on the Inevitable Destruction card, bringing it up to 11. At the start of the villain turn, if there are no Aeon men in play in this area, flip the card. Okay, so there we go. Flipped it. No other start of turn, so Scion card. Relentless Hunter. I think we've seen this one as well. The Scion with the lowest HP deals the hero target with the highest HP. No, not going to happen because there are no heroes here. If no damage was dealt this way, move that Scion to the other battle zone, and that Scion deals the hero target with the highest HP 5 melee damage. So he doesn't see anybody here. He moves over to Zone 1 and still does 5 damage to... it's a tie between Haka and Skyscraper. And it really doesn't much matter, so we're going to take it off, we'll say, Skyscraper. Aeon Master is actually over there, so we don't get his end of turn. Instead, we have this. at the end of this villain turn, if Oblivion is in this battle zone, is not, add a devastation token and play the top card of Oblivion's deck. That will not happen. So that brings us to the end of this round. So we might as well do the start of the next round because that's going to be it. Okay, it's Oblivion's turn again. At the start of his turn, if there are 12 or more devastation tokens on this card, there's not. There's 11. So we dodged a bullet there. However, at the start of Oblivion's turn, move the countdown to 0. When the countdown token reaches 0, Oblivion erases a hero and their surroundings from existence. Remove the hero with the lowest HP from the game entirely, including all their cards, their character card, and even their rewards. Then, we're not going to bother doing all of that because then after that, follow the environmental removal rules on the top card of the Scion deck, which means that the fantastical Festival of Conundrums and Curiosities is wiped out of existence, and we do not have another environment to replace it, thus officially losing the game. Wow. We got him down to 55, 6, got him down to 58 HP out of the 120 on his final form. I think a lot of my strategy was appallingly bad, but it is only my second time, well, it's my second time playing it. It's my first time playing it at all accurately, even though I made a bunch of mistakes. I made way more mistakes the first time I played it when nobody was watching. So yeah, I probably could have done better with positioning heroes, trying to keep them away from being destroyed and wiped out. Although again, it's hard to tell given that Oblivion can bounce back and forth between the two zones at a moment's notice. So who knows? Well, I hope everybody still enjoyed it, even though it means the end of all things. Thanks very much, everybody, for watching. Thanks for subscribing to the channel and for liking the videos. I appreciate it, and we will see you next time when we start yet another board game playthrough. So long.